So in today's video, I'm going to be previewing Doncaster Rovers versus Bradford City. Then in the second part of today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys my Game Week 31 League 2 score predictions. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 70 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you are new as well. We are now on the road to 7,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so and it does massively help out. Don't forget as well to get your score predictions in for this match down in the comment section down below. What would your starting 11 be for this one as well? We're coming off of the back of a really disappointing result and performance against Barrow, so we need to bounce back in this one. Doncaster have actually been on a similar run of form as us at this moment in time. You know, they won a couple of games and they've lost their most recent match, so it should be a good one. Obviously, Yorkshire Derby and all that. We've sold over 4,000 tickets as well. I think we sold 3,300 in 2 or 3 days. Then we got another 700 that was sold out in another hour or two, something crazy like that. So a lot of Bantams travelling down, potentially more Bantams than Doncaster fans at the game. So fingers crossed it can be one where we get back to winning ways and pick up the 3 points. So make sure you drop a like on today's video, subscribe if you are new as well, and let's get into it. So if we start out then with the current Sky Bet League 2 table, my team Bradford City, we currently sit 8th in the table. After 30 games, we've got 13 wins, 9 draws, 8 defeats, 37 goals scored, 29 goals conceded, leaving us on a positive 8 goal difference and 48 points. Our last couple of games then have been a loss, a win, a draw, and a draw. Them last couple of games then being a 1-0 defeat at home to Barrow, a 2-0 win at home to Tranmere Rovers, a 3-2 win away at Stevenage, a 1-1 draw at home to Mansfield, and a 0-0 draw away at Stockport County. That then compared though to Doncaster Rovers, they're currently sat a couple of places behind us in the table in 10th. After 31 games, they've got 14 wins, 4 draws, 13 defeats, 36 goals scored, but 42 goals conceded. That is the most in pretty much every team from 19th place onwards. That is the most goals conceded in the whole division. Obviously leaves them on a -6 goal difference and 46 points. The last couple of games then have been a loss, a win, and a loss. Them last couple of games then being a 2-0 defeat away at Sutton United, a 1-0 win at home to Barrow, a 2-0 win away at Swindon Town, a 2-0 win at home to Tranmere Rovers, a 1-0 defeat at home to Hartlepool United, and also just before that they had a 4-1 defeat away at Mansfield Town. So I mean, they have beaten Barrow and Swindon and Tranmere, but they haven't been in great runs of form at this moment in time, losing teams like Hartlepool, who recently sacked their manager. They also conceded 3 goals to Rochdale. You know, they're not a team that are gonna consistently put a run together, and I can't quite see them getting into the playoffs this season. I just don't quite think their squad is good enough. I'm still unsure on their management team either, but now we're going to get into the team though that I would go with if I was Mark Hughes. So I would then line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. I know we've been playing the diamond quite a lot recently, but it's just not been working over the last couple of matches. Granted, we got some decent results against Tranmere and Stevenage, but the performances there really weren't the best, with Derbyshire and East are now going to be out injured for a significant amount of time. I think it's about time we do go back to the 4-2-3, and it looks like we went to that for a little bit against Barrow as well. And obviously this is the best formation to play Scott Banks, one of our better players. He needs to be playing, so to get Scott Banks in, I don't really see how you get him in the diamond system. So I want to see us go back to the 4-2-3-1 and obviously go Harry Lewis in goal. He hasn't really had much to do over the last 2 games. I think he's only faced 1 or 2 shots on target, one of them obviously being in a goal from Barrow. He could have maybe done better with that one. You know, I think the shot actually in the end goes through his legs, but we all know how good Harry Lewis is, the best goalkeeper in the league in my opinion. If we don't go up this season, I think certainly he's going to make us a lot of money in the summer. Into the back 4 then, at right back I would go with Brad Halliday. Now you all know how much of a big fan I am of Brad Halliday, but last match against Barrow, I'm going to say this for quite a lot of players, worst performance of the season that I've seen from Brad Halliday. He was absolutely shocking, just constantly wanting to go backwards. I know that's part of the tactic, but never really an option down the line, which you could maybe say is not really his fault. We didn't really seem to have the confidence to drive on, and we need to see better from Brad Halliday, obviously against one of his former employees as well, so he'll be wanting to get one over them and all that sort of stuff. Into the 2 centre-halves then, firstly I would go with Sam Stubbs. I think for me personally, he has to play on that right side because Platt, for me personally, just simply has not been good enough over the last couple of games. Since his red card, I think his performances have significantly dropped off, but specifically over the last couple of matches, I remember the Mansfield game, even Tranmere, and most recently against Barrow, some of the passes that he's making are absolutely shocking. I know that's maybe not the best thing that he's good at is his passing ability, but some of his passes have been absolutely dreadful. His defending also hasn't been great. I know we've not really had too much defending to do, but when we have done it, he's looked really nervous and a bit shaky. So I think a period out of the team for him now would maybe do him the world of good. Partnering Stubbs then, I would go with Romney Critchlow. I assume he will be back available for this one, which will obviously be a big boost for us. While Stubbs and Platt have been decent for us, Stubbs has been really good since coming in from Exeter. I think if Critchlow's fit, Critchlow has to play. Been one of our better outfield players so far this season. Obviously, recently recently recovering from an eye injury. I do expect him to be back for this one. If he's not, then that is obviously a big concern for us. So hopefully he's back for this one. And also at left back, I would go with Tolaji Bowler. Fingers crossed he's back for this one as well. I think he should be. From the time scale that Mark Hughes gave of Critchlow and Bowler, they should hopefully both be back for these matches. If not, you probably go Stubbs and Kelly, and then obviously Rideout at left back if Critchlow and Bowler are not available. But for me personally, well, I think Bowler's performances, the 2 or 3 that he has had so far, I think they have been very inconsistent. You know, he's shocking away at Stockport, was decent after the first 15 minutes against Mansfield. I think he's just better than Liam Rideout. I think he was really, really poor against Barrow. Literally had no defending to do. It was just more offensive work, and his crosses were overhit, out for goal kicks. They were really, really poor, and I don't think Liam Rideout is good enough to be playing for Bradford City. He's been really poor this season. He was very good last season, but this season he's just been far from his best. So I'd like to see Bowler come back in at left back if he is fit. Into the 2 central midfielders then, this is really hard for me to pick because obviously we've not really seen Clayton in a 2-man midfield. You know, we have seen him at the base of a diamond with 2 other more energetic players next to him. So maybe in a 4-2-3 when you go with someone like a Smallwood. But I've personally gone with Adam Clayton first. I think obviously we all know how bad he was against Barrow. He's been brilliant since coming in from Doncaster Rovers. Obviously the return of Adam Clayton to Doncaster. But for me personally against Barrow, he was absolutely shocking. You could argue he was at fault for the goal, gives the ball away in a stupid area, and which simply did not recover in time. It was a shocking performance. So even his normal short passing, long passing has been brilliant for us so far in that game against Barrow, and he probably knows it himself. He had an off game, and fingers crossed it was just an off game and he doesn't carry on into this one. Partnering Adam Clayton then, it was between Gilead and East for me. I've just gone with Ryan East just because I like that balance, have a right foot and a left footer in that midfield. More than likely, I don't really see how he fits a 4-2-3-1 with Gilead, Smallwood and Clayton because he seems a bit hesitant to drop either of them 3. But for me personally, I like to see a midfield 2 of Adam Clayton and Ryan East. I think East, whenever he's been called up on this season, has been brilliant, and I don't really understand why at times he has been dropped from the matchday squad. If you are interested in going the extra mile to support the channel, then feel free to become a member and unlock members only videos, receive early access to videos, you get a shout out in every video. Also, you'll be able to access exclusive member badges and emotes as well as other exclusive content. Prices start from as little as 99p. Thank you very much for your support. Moving in then into the front 3 on the right hand side, I would obviously go with Scott Banks. Whenever he's played, he's been fantastic. You know, he came on off the bench against Barrow, gave us a little bit of a spark, but constantly had 2 defenders on him, and obviously because Halliday had gone off, he didn't have anyone overlapping and taking one of them defenders away. So for me personally, if Banks is fit, Banks has to be playing now. We cannot keep this man on the bench. I'm not even involved in the squad. I think that has been obviously I understand it when we're playing the diamond system, but for me personally, I think it's time to bring Banks back in from the start and see what he can do going at the Doncaster defenders. In at number 10 position then, I would go with Jamie Walker. I thought it was a pretty meh performance from Walker. I genuinely could not tell you one thing that he did in that game against Barrow. Completely forgotten it, and probably for the better that I've completely forgotten that game because it was a really, really poor performance from everybody. We all know the quality though that Jamie Walker does have, so for me personally, if Walker's fit, he is our best number 10, so I like to see him play in that role. On the left wing, I would go with Harry Chapman. Now, obviously, no Tyreek Wright with the football club. Obviously, his spell at Plymouth has not really been a good one so far. A lot of their fans saying that they don't rate him whatsoever. Thierry Nevers, haven't quite seen enough from him, and apart from that, all our other wingers mainly play on the right, like obviously Scott Banks, who is playing on the right. Costello, probably more of a right winger, but could maybe do a job on the left, but I think he might be better to come on off the bench with his pace. You've also got Dion Pereira, and obviously Aboisa is currently out injured. So for me personally, while Chapman does lack the end product, or has so far this season playing as a number 10, I certainly think as a winger, he could definitely do a better job. That is a position we've been asking to see Harry Chapman in for a long time, because I do think he's very good at dribbling and taking a man on. So I like to see Harry Chapman start on that left-hand side. And obviously the striker will be Andy Cook. The man breathes goals, he bleeds goals, and that's just what he does. 19 now for the big man in all competitions, and you are crazy if you want anyone other than Andy Cook leading the line at this moment in time. We need to offer him a new contract, give him another 2 years on top of the one that he's currently got, because he scores goals at League 2 level, even at League 1 level. So for me personally, I think Andy Cook deserves a new contract just for how good he has been so far this season. On the bench then for me, again, it was quite hard to leave some of these players out. There's players like Platt, Smallwood, Pereira, not even involved in my squad. On the bench, I have Colin Doyle, Kieran Kelly, Liam Rideout, Alex Gilead, Emmanuel Sidibe, who played his first minutes of the season on Tuesday night in the behind closed doors friendly. He should now hopefully be able to be on the bench. If he's not, then I think Hughes is going to wait a number of weeks before he includes him. And I understand that, but I think for me personally, because of how good Sidibe is, you've got to get him involved in the squad now. He's been in full training for, I think, 2 weeks now. He's got to be involved in the squad. The only way he gets match fit is by playing games. so I'd like to see Osadibe on the bench. Also on the bench then for me would be Dara Costello and Verden Oliver, which means the players who would miss out then would be Heath Richardson, Luke Hendry, Oscar Threlkeld, Matty Platt, Timmy Odesina, Richie Smallwood, which I mean we all know that's not going to happen, but I've just went with Gilead on the bench for a bit more energy in case we are chasing the game. Dion Pereira, Thierry Nevers, and obviously the injured Aloisa and Matt Derbyshire. Now let's get into my Game Week 31 League 2 score predictions. Starting out then with Barrow AFC versus Stockport County, I'm going to go with a 2-0 away win for Stockport. Colchester United, obviously recently losing their manager to Wycombe Wanderers versus Northampton Town, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Crawley Town versus Carlisle United, I'm going to go with a 2-1 away win for Carlisle. Crewe Alexandra versus Rochdale AFC, Rochdale on a horrendous run of form at this moment in time, I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw in that one. Doncaster Rovers versus Bradford City, I think Doncaster are going to make it really hard for us to break them down, very similar to how they played in the reverse fixture, obviously under a different manager, but I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw in that one. Gillingham FC versus AFC Wimbledon, bit of a local derby there, I'm going to go with a 3-2 home win for the Gills. Grimsby Town versus Leyton Orient, I'm going to go with a 3-1 away win for Orient. Hartlepool United recently sacking Keith Curl after just recently giving him an 18-month contract versus Walsall FC, who are struggling to win games at this moment in time. Draw FC over there, I'm going to go with a 1-0 away win for the Saddlers. Mansfield Town versus Salford City, I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. Newport County versus Sutton United, I'm going to go with a 1-0 home win for Newport. Stevenage FC versus Tranmere Rovers, I'm going to go with Stevenage to absolutely batter Tranmere 4-1 in that one. And finally, Swindon Town versus Harrogate Town, I'm going to go with a 2-1 home win for Swindon. But that is where I'm going to leave it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 70 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you are new as well. We are now on the road to 7,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification button. It's free to do so and it does massively help out. Don't forget as well to get your score predictions and what your starting 11 would be for this match down in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Have a great rest of your day and I shall see you all very soon for another one. Peace.